Oh, hi there. Good evening. I kind of wanted a recap of some news media I had seen in the recent last few weeks, and my interpretation of so called media in regards to COVID. Um, the first thing I want to tackle is the wearing of masks. Some individuals believe that wearing a mask does not spread or does not stop the spread of COVID and doesn't protect you from COVID, which was acknowledged by the scientific community at one point in time through various studies and all that sort of stuff. Um, what they don't understand is they believe that COVID particles can still go through most masks, if not all of them, and still infect other people. But what they don't take into consideration is that most people are dirty some bitches who touch their face, touch their mask, just have runny noses and all the likes. And, evidently after a certain amount of time, you should change your mask if you're wearing a disposable one. And even if you're not, and you're using a reusable one, that you should change it periodically. And I don't mean once a day, I mean, I guess every couple of hours would be the ideal thing to do. Most people don't do that. I ride on public transit. I can tell you for a fact that people are gross. They're disgusting. They do dirty things. They are simply filthy. And that's the way it is. Um, with that out of the way, um, there's a few other key aspects I wanted to bring up. One, which is largely ignored at this point in time, and it's not going to get me any views on YouTube, I assure you. However, it is a pivotal point in the COVID 19 conversation. And that is, where did the virus originate from, and why has all media that's basically associated with COVID 19, very few stories ever get through that are popular enough that actually pinpoint where the virus came from originally. Now, this is important because it came from China, the most potent power against the Western Empire. They're still lagging behind in many, many, many ways, but they do have the capability to cause distress for Western nations, and they have done so. In fact, they went a step further and made it a world problem, not just a Western problem, but a world problem. And the media doesn't even want to talk about it. And that's mainstream media, YouTube media, Facebook media, any of it. They all want to ignore it. And that's the real argument, isn't it? It's not, oh, I have to wear a piece of cloth over my face and it makes me feel uncomfortable. No, that's not the real issue, is it? The real issue is there's a country out there that doesn't like us, specifically the Chinese Communist Party, and has access and the capabilities of manufacturing viruses and other things, probably even worse, probably even prions too, which you can watch Simon Whistler and watch a video about that, Into the Shadows, a YouTube channel I highly recommend. Anyway, yeah, that country doesn't like us, and they're capable of doing that, and they're capable of infecting our appliances, equipment, luxury items, and all that sort of stuff from the country of origin where it was manufactured, which was China. And they'll do it again and again and again and again and again. And everyone was going, because they've been brainwashed, oh, China is going to be the number one superpower and blah, 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 blah. And these idiots went along going, yeah, like, that's not a bad thing. Yeah, yeah. And it's like, well, actually, stupid, they have nothing good in mind for you. So, like, why wouldn't, even if you're just doing your little part and saying, hey, F off, why aren't you doing that instead of going, I have to wear a mask in front of my face. I feel like my privileges are violated. And then some people, use the excuse, well, these restrictions brought on upon by the government inhibit my ability to travel. For starters, people who think like that usually go to dirt poor countries, essentially mud hut villages that are dressed up like vacation spots. South America, East Asia, those kind of places. Even Eastern Europe. They don't actually like Westerners, in particular white males. They don't like them. They like your money. There's a difference. And I made a video saying that there should be permanent travel restrictions, and I still believe that. I don't think you should be allowed to go to Vietnam. You go there, you can stay there. Don't come back. Because, let's face facts. I mean, the Chinese Communist Party has an army the size of the Vietnamese population, so they have an undisclosed deal that they don't share with the West, where the Chinese army can just swift their way into Vietnam and build up coastal defenses if ever need be, whenever they want, however they want, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, all this bullshit about how the Vietnamese won the Vietnam War and all that sort of stuff, it's exactly that. And that's, kind of important because it affects the travel industry. Now, you may go, well, what does the travel industry got to do with COVID? Travel industry's been hit hard by COVID. And there are a lot of money makers who wanted people to travel to these places. It may not seem like they're getting a lot out of it because these places are dirt cheap to go to, but money doesn't work the way people think it does. Money is actually far more mysterious than people understand. And when you're traveling from one country to another, especially, in poorer regions, money works differently, and a lot of people who have traveled to such places probably understand that, but they don't understand the concept of why that could potentially be problematic. These tourist operating businesses, they're out quite a few dollars because of COVID-19 and travel restrictions. They want you to go to places that the local populace doesn't like you. And it's no sweat off their chin because they make money anyway. They're not the ones going into hostile neighboring countries. And a lot of people go, well, I've been there plenty of times. Nothing ever happened to me. Yeah, it's like, walking on a tightrope from about 40 stories high. You can get it right 99% of the time, but you only have to get it wrong once. And it may take a leader like Donald Trump coming along and saying, well, I'm putting restrictions on this country. And then all of a sudden their mindset might change because they see that they're not going to make money. And how are they going to make money quickly? Well, I guess you could say that they will do whatever it takes to make money, which might include apprehending you should you be in that country at the time. And you'll be the last one to know because you're basically human meat bait. And oh well, acceptable losses, that kind of stuff. The government's not coming in there to save you, and all that kind of stuff, or most certainly not in a timely manner. And these little precautions that we have to take, like wearing masks, taking vaccinations. Like, I'm not thrilled with the idea of either of them. But I understand why they're there. They're there because there are hostile powers in the world that are concocting horrible things against the West and all Western media. It doesn't matter. I don't like to say left or right because those don't make any sense anymore. They're not even, it's not even a thing anymore. They're most certainly not what they were in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, and 80s, and 90s. Not the same thing at all. They're, the left today, or what people would call the left, are some segment of an organization that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And that's the same with the right as well. Both take aggressive postures. Both don't care what the other one thinks, so go ahead and do what they want to do anyway. And, so on and so forth. And, I like to think of myself as center. There's some things that some people who are supposed leftists say that I don't agree with because it doesn't make any damn sense. Supposedly it's a leftist idea not to wear masks and to rebel and revolution against the government. And no, I don't agree with that. And I don't agree with revolutions either, because revolutions are just plain stupid. Those happened a few times in history, and they were actually not peaceful whatsoever. And not only that, they just really were just a rabble of idiots running around causing chaos. That's not really a revolution. That's more of mass hysteria, actually, if you want to put it bluntly. And the same goes for the right. Throughout history, that's kind of been the way how it is. They might have a different set of ideals, but, pinning what the left used to be and what it is today, they're not the same thing at all. And that's the same with the right and what they used to be and what they are today. They're not the same. You can't compare them. And, the real problems is that people don't understand what the real problem is. And that's that this virus came from China. It's the China virus. And no, that is not racist to point that out. As a matter of fact, it's racist that they did that towards the world. You'll get a lot of people who are so-called woke. As I've said before, woke used to be a good word where it meant that you were knowledgeable about your surroundings, not some purple-haired idiot running around with whatever hashtag or, new concept to you, anyway, philosophy, running around like an idiot. That's not really being woke. That's being told what to do and, essentially being a sheep, which you claim you're not, and moving forward, telling everybody else how they're sheep. And what are you? A dirty, disgusting animal who doesn't wear a mask, doesn't want to take vaccines, and probably doesn't wash your hands. So, could you please, do the world a favor and, shut the fuck up? Could you do that? Is it such a big stretch? I mean, nobody wants to listen to you anyway. So why don't you just shut the fuck up? So yeah, that in consideration, along with a great many other things. The big thing that these anti-maskers, anti-vaxxers want is a return to normal. I think we all want that. The problem is their definition of normal is actually, how to put this? Well, it's an illusion. It's the pretense of normal. Oh, I don't have to wear a mask. Everything's normal. No, it's not normal. There's a big country out there that doesn't like us. You can liken it to a dragon that doesn't like us and has probably thousands of different viruses they can release onto the public at any given time. Because the West is so dependent on cheap labor and cheap products now, and we don't really want to build that stuff ourselves because it's kind of bad for the environment and all that kind of stuff to build that sort of stuff. I mean, you get non-stick frying pans, yeah, that's bad for the environment. iPhones, yeah, that's totally bad for the environment. As a matter of fact, most things that are made in China or Asia as a whole are bad for the environment. But it's better that it happens over there than over here. So there was legitimate reason to go, hey, let's just ship this stuff over here and make them build it. And that has come with its own host of problems, which requires a video of its own. So yeah, in result, people want this sense of normality. What happened to actually wanting normality? Wanting things to be normal? Not like, I think it's normal, therefore it is normal. Like, actually normal. And that just, quite frankly, isn't possible. 10 years from now, there'll be something else. COVID-19 will sort of just disappear, but not really. And it'll come back. Maybe in a decade, maybe 20 years, who knows when. Anytime, really. And it'll be called something else. And since masks have already been introduced, it won't be an alien concept to people these days, even if they don't like it. And let's remember, China is spying on its own citizens for the purpose of grading them on their ability to respect the Chinese Communist Party or the government. Who's to say that the Western powers do not do the exact same thing? The United Kingdom has more cameras than most other Western powers. What in the hell do they need them for? They don't catch the bad guys doing bad things most of the times. So what are they using them for? Probably to, dig up dirt whenever they want to. Going, look at the mass of people. They're not wearing masks. They're not respecting the government. Therefore, we have the legitimacy to enforce stricter sanctions on our own citizens. As in, you don't wear a mask the next time they tell you to wear a mask, you're up shit creek. And these idiots who go, I don't have to wear a mask, who's going to stop me? By the way, there was one person on the bus who did that. I've never seen him since. He was not all there. He's a bit half retarded, actually. He was dancing around in, a cordoned off section of the bus. It's cordoned off because it's too close to the driver, so they didn't want someone, possibly COVID near the driver. They didn't want that. So they just put some tape around it saying you can't come here, basically. It was like caution, no entry, that kind of thing. And there was one idiot, half retarded. I mean, I say it in the nicest way possible, but he was half retarded. And he was like going around and going, who's going to stop me? Who's going to stop me? And then guess what? I've never seen him since. And that was 6 months ago. So, I think somebody gave him a ticket, and that was enough to stop him from ever doing that ever again. And you know what? To be honest with you, we can't have idiots running around making decisions for themselves. I know that sounds like you. What are you getting at, Iron Drac? Are you saying that you have to let people make decisions for you? Yes, if you're a complete retard, yes, you do. Um, if you think logically, if you think sensibly about things, if you think of a rational reason for things, if you can criticize the people who are telling you what to do in a manner that is, applicable and makes sense and isn't fed to you like, corn is to cows in the United States, then, you're a responsible person and you're able to make decisions. However, most people think they're responsible and able to make decisions, but are not, as a matter of fact. As I said, I ride on public transit. I see dirty, disgusting people all the time who think they are able to make decisions for themselves. And to be honest with you, they're not. I'm not saying the government is capable of making the decisions for them, but I am saying that the people who sort of go around, disrespecting the law just because they can, are not necessarily people who can make reasonable, rational decisions. And, that's not going to win me the popular vote. I know this, but the fact is, there's a great swath of people who, for lack of a better word, are completely stupid. And whining is not going to get you anywhere with me, and I'm just a YouTuber, let alone somebody who's solid as a brick wall, authority figure. You're not going to get anywhere with them with your whining. And the reason the whining has been allowed to be as loud as it is because of industries like the tour operating industry. They want you to go back to Taiwan. They want you to go back to Hong Kong. They want you to go back to Vietnam. They want you to go back to South America because that's where they make their money. You're not going to make any money because you're the chump who's just going there. Some mud hut village where the people don't like you, as I said. That's one industry that, has greatly suffered. And, some people say, well, it builds better relations between countries if, there's some, travel destinations and, money transferring between peoples. No. You're just a putty of meat going to a place and you have some money on you. Not a lot of money, but some money. And that's all you are. And it's not enough. Nobody who lives here in Canada has enough money to satisfy the hunger of such places. They just don't have it. So who are you? You're disposable. You're a meat package. Forgotten the next week. So go ahead. Dream of going, I want to go to a Caribbean island where everyone hates me except my money. They like my money, but they don't like me. That's where I want to go. And, it also doesn't help when guys like me, we don't like sand. And I think a few of you will get that reference. But anyway, I'm going to tail this off because this video, it's already gone it's over 24 minutes now. So, yeah, I better tail this video off. I've made a few points here and they're valid ones. And I'll just recap real quick. Tourism industry. Suffering badly because of COVID, wants a reboost. And they want you to go to countries where the country that was responsible for COVID has complete control over them. So you're going right into the lion's den with that. That's one thing. 2, not wearing a mask is a pathetic crybaby reason. Oh, it's uncomfortable. Oh, it's scritchy. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. Oh, it doesn't really work anyway. Blah, blah, blah. You're making up excuses. You're a baby who doesn't want to wear his diaper. And you don't deserve to make decisions if you're a baby who can't wear his own diaper. So, as far as the very many topics of COVID, I really wish this was one that was brought up more often. But anyway, I'm past the 25-minute mark, so I'm going to leave it at that. I'll let you people think for yourself, and you have yourself a good night.